You're listening to the John and Heidi Show Bonus Hour. If you miss any of the program, you can find the podcast at the bottom of the page at sunnyradio.com.
Do you ever get credit card offers in the mail? Those are usually the worst offers. The people who actually read their junk mail end up paying the price in the long run. At bettercreditcards.com, we offer a variety of credit card options to fit your needs. Whether you want a credit card to give you cash back or points and perks, or a credit card to help you build your credit, we probably have it.
Give yourself a little credit.
Get a better credit card.
Switch to bettercreditcards.com.
That's bettercreditcards.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday. Yeah, you heard me right. It's the most Monday feeling Tuesday ever, isn't it? But it is a Tuesday, and that means we have Dr. Dan from Sioux Falls Hypnosis joining us here in just a bit. And the thing that's cool, if you set New Year's resolutions, maybe you've done it like I have in the past, set a New Year's resolution, and then by this time, 2 whole days in, you've already been, off that New Year's resolution. At Sioux Falls Hypnosis, they might be able to help you stick to that resolution this year, even if it's not a resolution. If it's just, hey, I really, really want to do this. Maybe you didn't make that as a resolution, but you really want to get something done, whether it's quitting smoking, losing weight, doing some specific thing that you're struggling with. Sioux Falls Hypnosis, they might be able to help. So stick around, and we're going to chat a little bit about that with Dr. Dan from Sioux Falls Hypnosis here in a bit. And later this hour, we're going to be doing another hashtag comedy call with another very funny comic from Sioux Falls, actually from the Snow Jam Comedy Festival of Sioux Falls. If you'd like to learn more about that, it's snowjamcomedyfest.com, SNOJAM, snowjamcomedyfest.com. It's only a few weeks away now. I can't believe it. It's the 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st of January. So that's like a little over 2 weeks away. And I think we're going to have at least one comic per day between now and then to chat with. So we'll be chatting in just a bit with one of the very funny comics from that fun event. You can also learn more on our Facebook page, facebook.com/sunnyradio. Thanks for listening on a Tuesday.
Invite your friends and family over to make memories with a fun game night. VerySpecialGames.com has 5 fun games that will help everyone have a blast. Games like Ransom Notes, the ridiculous word magnet game, Abduction, a weirdly strategic game of duck kidnapping, Vins with Benefits, the hilarious Venn diagram game, Puns of Anarchy, the outrageous pun-making game, and Charty Party, the game of absurdly funny charts. Find these fun games and more at VerySpecialGames.com. That's VerySpecialGames.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. It's a new year, and there's a lot of people who are making resolutions right now. I have Dr. Dan from Sioux Falls Hypnosis. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Happy New Year to you.
And thank you. You too.
This is a time people make New Year's resolutions. We talked a little bit about this last week, but let's talk a little more about it, because now we're in it. And there's probably already somebody who made a resolution yesterday, and they've already given up on it today.
Well, they're working on it anyway. Yeah.
So let's talk about that, because I called it, I don't remember what you called it, bargaining.
I called it rationalizations, I remember. You called it excuses.
Excuses. Yeah, we make these excuses. I like your word better. It sounds more professional.
Sure.
It's one of them $5 words. Mine's like a 50-cent word. So let's use the $5 word. That's going to be happening a lot this week, isn't it?
Right. And one of the things, so this is the way I'll explain it to you. For now, many people out there have heard, there's a model, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, and she talked about the stages of grief.
Oh, yeah.
So denial, anger, bargaining, sadness, and acceptance. Okay. Now, the reason that thing is genius, and the reason it's still around is it is the stages of grief, but really another way to look at it is the stages of anything in your life that's a have to.
Oh, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're now in a situation where you have to. I have to do this. Life has put me in this. I have put me in this situation. Someone else has put me in this situation. And what happens is you begin to move. It starts out with denial. I don't have a problem. This isn't difficult. I can do this. This is the point where I'm making a resolution. It's all good. And then you go to anger. Now, when we talk about anger, think about it just like stress. Yeah. I am now stressed over this.
Yeah.
I'm experiencing negative emotions. I mean, I'm not feeling good about this. And then what happens is we move to the next stage, which is bargaining.
Yeah.
And bargaining is when we give ourselves the excuses we need, the rationalizations we need, the reasons we need in order to be able to back out of or lower the stress level, to head back down that sort of stress curve, that hill.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing is we're essentially, your nervous system's only job in the world is to help you cope with stress. And so when the stress gets high enough, I'm in this have to now. I've placed myself in this situation, and I will begin to bargain with myself. I will tell myself whatever I need to hear in order to change this deal or back out of it or alter it in some way or leave part of it behind or whatever I need to do so that I can lower my stress level. Rather than the flip side of that is to move through bargaining and not engage in any of it. And you kind of cap that stress, the stress curve at the top. And then as you move down the other side, then there's some sadness.
Yeah.
And or just, realization. And once you move through that, though, you get down here to the end where acceptance, where everything gets to be okay.
Yeah.
And the problem with resolutions is most people, as the stress increases and they get up into that bargaining phase, and then they bargain their way out of most of whatever they've done, and then they never see the other side of the curve. They never go to sadness, and they never get to acceptance. And acceptance is where learning and growth and change and transformation, all of that stuff happens over there.
Yeah.
But the only way you get to that point is if you don't do the bargaining number at the top. Now, people will kind of bounce around inside this sort of series of events, denial. And
it's not always linear, is what you're
right,
saying?
it's not always linear. And what they're going to do is they're going to find a way to do that lowers their stress level to whatever degree they need it lowered. But the point to all of this, it's making it through this to acceptance. And acceptance is where you actually get to become another person, a different person, a better person, a bigger person.
The person you want to be.
The person you wish to be. And the thing I would tell you about this is one of the best definitions I've ever heard for maturity was a guy by the name of Fritz Perls. He's a little bit of a wild man, but he was a therapist back in the 60s and 70s. I think he passed away maybe in the 80s. And he said the maturity is the ability to tolerate frustrated desire alone.
Oh, wow.
Maturity is the ability to tolerate frustrated desire alone. And what he was saying is you need to be able to be at the top of that stress curve and tolerate it and still get to be okay.
Nice.
And that is really, if you can do that, you automatically kind of begin to move down the other side to acceptance.
Yeah.
So it's this bargaining thing. And so a resolution, when your listeners out there, when they make a resolution, know that this is coming.
Yeah.
Realize that it's out there waiting for you.
Plan for it.
And stipulate it. And then the test for yourself is to be able to tolerate that experience, realize you're going to be okay, stay in it, and kind of move through the experience to the end, and realize that everything you're looking for is down the other side a bit.
Yeah.
And again, and if you need somebody to kind of walk you through this sometimes there's a piece of learning in here that people just never got during the course of their life. They were never able to kind of tolerate an experience where they didn't begin to bargain with themselves.
Yeah.
And sometimes we need someone to help us be able to do that differently, to actually make a decision and stick on it.
If somebody would like to get your help, how do they get a hold of you?
They can reach me. You can look me up on the internet, SiouxFallsHypnosis.com. You can certainly call me at 605-702-6691.
Very nice. And this time of year, a lot of resolutions being made to lose weight, to quit smoking, less stress in your life. Those are things that he can definitely help you at least get in the right direction and figure out, how can I do this for me? And if you're ready to do that, again, reach out to Dr. Dan. I'm going to throw a link to his page at facebook.com/sunnyradio and facebook.com/Sioux Falls News.
If your plan for the new year involves getting your financial life in order, I suggest you start with your mobile phone bill. How much do you pay every month? If that number is more than $15, it's time for Mintervention. Mint Mobile makes it affordable and easy to switch. Get a new phone or bring your current phone. At Mintervention.com, you can see the current special offers from Mint Mobile, offering premium wireless for just $15 a month. That's far less than most people are paying. Learn more now at Mintervention.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Excited to visit right now with an actor and a comedian, Dale Dymkoski, and he is going to be at Snow Jam Comedy Festival coming up in a few weeks. Dale, how are you?
I'm great, John. Thank you. How are you doing?
I am fantastic. I was watching some of your stand-up comedy before we made the call here, and you're a funny guy, and you were in the video, you were pointing out that you have hearing aids. And I think that it's amazing to me the technology we have today. But have you had those your whole life? How long have you had that?
Yeah, that's quite funny. The technology is quite amazing. I've been wearing hearing aids since I was 3 years old. So kind of, if you can remember back to when we had rotary phones and landlines, and how far the technology's gone from just our phones and digital technology. That's the same thing happened with hearing aids. I was wearing these analog hearing aids that wrapped around my ears that were visible for everybody to see, to today where, you would never know that I wore hearing aids if I didn't tell you.
Well, and I've got a friend that has an implant, and he can connect his phone to this thing that's inside of his head. So he had his phone in his pocket, and he's talking, and I'm looking around, I'm like, who are you talking to? And he goes, no, I have an implant in my, he goes, no, I was on my phone. I'm like, I thought I was going crazy for a second there.
That's incredible. So that's a cochlear implant he has. That's a very deaf person.
Yeah, I don't know. He speaks very clearly. Everything works fine, but it's, again, the technology is amazing today.
Yeah. No, it's incredible. The fact that we can go to our phones and just make the adjustments. So I always tell people I can actually probably hear better than you can now, because the hearing aids know that when I'm in a loud restaurant that I don't want to hear the background noise. I just want to hear the noise in front of me.
Yeah, absolutely fascinating. So how long have you been doing stand-up comedy, and what was it that got you interested in doing this?
So I started 10 years ago with a 3-year break where I thought I wouldn't do stand-up comedy anymore. So I say I've been doing comedy for 7 years, but I started 10 years ago. And what happened was I turned 40 and I wanted to do the thing that scared me the most. And as an actor out in LA, I thought stand-up comedy doesn't get any scarier than that. And I'd seen a friend do it that I was in acting classes with, and I was like, she's great up there. I really liked her on stage. I didn't like her in real life, but I liked her when she was on stage. And I was like, I could do that. And I've always been a writer. I've always liked to write. And it just sort of seemed like a natural. And then once I started doing it, I just sort of fell in love with it. And I can't not do it now.
And we're excited to have you at the Snow Jam Comedy Festival, January 18, 19, 20, and 21. It's sneaking right up. Have you been to Sioux Falls before?
I have never been to Sioux Falls, North Dakota, South Dakota, or North Dakota for that matter. That's one of the things that I love about doing stand-up comedy is where it takes me. It takes me to places I probably wouldn't otherwise get to. And I'm very excited about coming next month.
Well, we're excited to have you come and join us. And again, this is a fundraiser for DAPA, Dakota Academy of Performing Arts. So I think it's really cool. You as an actor and all of these stand-up comics, performing artists that are going to be helping raise money for the next generation of performing arts. I think that's just a really neat thing.
Wonderful. Love it.
So let's talk about your style of comedy. For people who maybe haven't had a chance to see you, what are they going to see while you're joining us here at Snow Jam Comedy Festival?
I like to say that I'm influenced by George Carlin and Bill Maher, so I have a little bit of a political and social commentary with my comedy, but also eclectic, relationships, family, everyday stuff, peppered in with some lighthearted and good-natured sort of discussion about social issues that most people in casual settings kind of shy away from.
Well, I'm excited to see you here, and I'm excited to meet you in person. Thanks for taking the time to chat today.
It's been my pleasure, John. I can't wait to see you.
And again, Dale is one of the several comics. There's over 30 comedians that'll be embarking on a little journey to come to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, January 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st. And it's all for charity. It's to raise money for DAPA, Dakota Academy Performing Arts. It's all part of Snow Jam Comedy Festival, and sadly the final year of Snow Jam, but we're going out on top. It's going to be a great event. If you'd like to get tickets, you can get them now at snowjamcomedyfest.com. That's SNOJAM. Again, snowjamcomedyfest.com.
Invite your friends and family over to make memories with a fun game night. VerySpecialGames.com has 5 fun games that will help everyone have a blast. Games like Ransom Notes, the ridiculous word magnet game, Abduction, a weirdly strategic game of duck kidnapping, Vins with Benefits, the hilarious Venn diagram game, Puns of Anarchy, the outrageous pun-making game, and Charty Party, the game of absurdly funny charts. Find these fun games and more at VerySpecialGames.com. That's VerySpecialGames.com.